A few weeks ago, I did this video. So I'm sure many of you have heard of this trending topic known as black fatigue. And in that video, I featured a woman who said this.
Y'all care more about animals than y'all care about us. Don't nobody, we tired of y'all too. We are tired of y'all. If y'all can give us our own little area of land where we can get the from around y'all, I guarantee you we will. And I guarantee you that the black community will flourish while y'all not gonna have shit. You wanna know why? Because y'all stole everything. Y'all stole everything y'all have.
Now, when I did that video, I had no idea that it would stir up a hornet's nest with a lot of people in the comment section, more specifically white people calling for segregation between white and black people. What I found especially interesting is that all the people who called for a separation between white and black people immediately posited that the black community, if left to its own devices, would fail. And throughout the conversation in the comment section, many of them referenced a lot of negative activities by poor inner city blacks. Here's what one commenter said.
Blacks can choose their state to inhabit. Put it on the ballot. It will pass with 90% of the vote. We'll see if you will flourish. That is f***ing hilarious.
And this man said this.
That y'all know if we put y'all on your own island, it would be nothing but chaos. Come on now. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Many white and black people across social media have been calling for a segregation of some sort. So we're going to talk a little bit about that on the podcast today. My name is Rogan. This is This Bahamian Gal. Let's get it.
Love me or hate me, God knows you made it when he let his eyes on me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my podcast. My name is Rogan, and this is This Bahamian Gal. On my platform, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. All right, let's get into the video. I did not live through segregation, but I certainly have watched enough documentaries and read enough books and watched enough interviews to know that segregation sucked. As a matter of fact, there are people who are still alive today who lived through segregation, who know about going to water fountains that were for coloreds only, knowing that they could not use the restroom facilities as their white counterparts if they were non-white, individuals who could not even go to school together. I was inside of a restaurant recently sitting at the bar, and I don't even know why this thought just came to my mind. Well, maybe because I was the only black person sitting there. A Hispanic lady was serving me and some white men were all around, and I just had this thought like, wow, if this were the 50s or 40s, we would not be sitting here together. So when people talk about wanting segregation again, I don't know that they are particularly meaning that they want it codified in law, where it's the law of the land that blacks separate from whites, separate from Hispanics. It's imposed by the government. That's why we had like Jim Crow laws, that sort of thing. Self-separation is, I don't want to hang with these people. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to live in their area. So you just decide to go over and self-isolate. I am curious to know which of the two people are referring to. I have no doubt that there are some folks who would probably like to see it codified in law. And I'm hearing a lot of black people too say that they do want segregation because they feel as if they would thrive more in their own environment, where they had their own schools, their own police officers, their own everything. It was funny again to me to hear so many people just automatically assume that black people would fail. We have instances and incidents and historical moments where black people were thriving in the United States. Blacks have been thriving outside of the US for a very long time. The blacks of yesteryear are not the blacks of today. So I have no doubt that there being already successful black people, that they would thrive, they would do really well. So I don't get the natural assumption that they would fail. I think sometimes people look at inner city black people, which are poor people. You have poor white people, poor Hispanic people, and just naturally assume that if left to their own devices, they would fail.
Oh, you thought you was gonna be mad? Oh, I couldn't wait for this. You mean you gonna help me do what I've been trying to tell my people to do? Oh, I can't wait. Whites only. No, don't do the old school signs. Get you some big neon signs for nighttime so everybody can see. So our 1.7 trillion can skip right over you. And don't be picky. Don't be picky. NBA, NFL, go all the way with it. Go all the way with it. School, do the whole damn thing. We won't be mad. We won't be mad. And take your friends with you. You know, the gas stations and the liquor store that's on every corner of our neighborhood. Take their ass with you. The hair store. Go ahead. We be all right. We gonna rebuild. We gonna be all right. Whites only.
As it relates to self-separation, I think it could be more of a hindrance than people think. I seriously don't think a lot of folks give consideration to how integrated their lives have become, how much they use the other race so much. They just naturally think I can just go off on my own and my problems would go away. Well, I don't think that the problems would go away. I think new problems would be created, especially if you're living in a homogenous society. Someone's going to have to be on the top, someone's going to be in the middle, someone's going to be at the bottom, and that always creates some sort of class issue. You are going to have issues regardless. I think when you separate, you starve yourself of knowledge. You starve yourself of access to something different. And I'm just not just talking about just musically or just food wise or the culture, but you're missing out on, but I'll just say the brain power that comes from the other side. A lot of critics will also tell you that too much self-separation could lead you to be in your echo chamber. If you've been watching my channel for some time now, you know how I feel about these echo chambers. I don't want to always be around people who just look like me, speak like me, think like me, have the same experiences as me, because I'm not going to learn. And when you are in a homogenous environment, that's precisely what happens. You start to be in your own echo chamber. Being integrated forces you out of your comfort zone. And I think that's a huge win for all sides. I want people who are really calling for segregation to really stop and think. We only need to reach back in the past and understand exactly what segregation felt like here in the United States. So I want to play a clip from a journalist by the name of Roger Wilkins, a very respected journalist. He talked about what it was like to be Black in a segregated America in the 1950s, and I think he said it just stunk. So take a listen.
In the early 50s, America was a horribly segregated country. It was as if the whole South was a rotten fruit that everybody could smell. And blacks were restless. Sitting on the back of the bus, being relegated to the upper floor of a theater, and sometimes to only one row of a theater. Going to a gas station when your bladder was full and not knowing whether you'd be permitted to use the bathroom. Having white people be just as rude to you as they chose to be, giving you absolutely no respect. But white people's bad views of black people are based on ignorance. And when we get together, they will cease to be ignorant about us, and the scales will fall from their eyes, and they will begin to be decent. That's what I thought. I was pretty naive, but that's what I thought.
So for those of you who are watching, who are advocates, proponents of segregation, how far are you willing to go to segregate? Like, what is it that you're looking for? Are you looking to just move into a community that just doesn't have Black people? Or are you talking about not wanting them in your restaurants, not wanting to share spaces and gyms and schools and churches? You just want only whatever your race is in that space. What does that look like for you? How would we even go about doing that? And would we just have to go and vote on it? A man in my comment section said if they wanted to vote on a separation, I think he said it would be like a 90-something% of people would vote to separate. I think people also have to understand that when you talk about segregating along race lines, my question is always, so what happens with those interracial couples? What happens with those children of interracial relationships? Where do they go? A lot of things have changed. We become so reliant on one another. But I personally do not believe in segregating at all. I love integration. I love being able to learn from different cultures and different races. I think most of my knowledge and my experiences come from other people who were not like me. I just couldn't imagine not having them in my space because we just chose to just go off on our own. It's just kind of weird to me. I didn't want to fill this video with a lot of TikToks from people. I just really wanted to pose the question because once I started seeing a recurrent theme inside of my comment section, I was just like, wow, I guess a lot of people would be okay with that. And it's just kind of sad. I think also for a lot of people who are advocating for some sort of separation, it's not really about exclusion. When I listen to them, I can tell the difference between people who are like, I don't want these people around me. I hate these people. Yada, yada, just get them away from me. I can hear that tone. And I also hear the tone of people who are like, it's not about exclusion, it's about community. and wanting to be around people who are similarly minded, people or spaces where they feel safe, they feel seen, they feel heard. And I understand that aspect of it. I really do. I get it, because nobody wants to feel like they're walking through the world, navigating through their own neighborhood, their own country, and constantly misunderstood. So I totally get that. But like I said in the beginning, a lot of people already do segregate or self-isolate or separate to some extent. Let's talk a little bit about why some people choose to self-separate. Well, there are many reasons. I'll just give a few. Number one, there's cultural preservation. You know, if you're from a certain country, your language, your food, your customs can all just kind of go by the wayside if you're not intentional about preserving those things. And a lot of times we think about culture as being outside of the United States, but the United States has its own culture as well. And so a lot of Americans don't want to see their culture disappearing because of an influx of different people. They want to preserve their culture and their language and their values as well. So I totally get that. Then, of course, there's religious values. You have a lot of faith-based groups that are choosing to self-isolate because they want to be able to practice and showcase their religion freely without someone making fun of them. You have individuals who speak a different language and they don't want to hear someone constantly criticizing them because of the way that, you know, for them speaking in their native tongue. I have a friend who's from Brazil, and she was speaking to her friends back home in Brazil who do not speak English. And a white man, accosted her and told her to speak English. If she spoke English, first of all, it's not even his business, but if she spoke English, then the people who she's talking to in Brazil wouldn't even understand what she was saying. And we had a whole conversation about that as well. And so when you have those sorts of attitudes too, it makes people not want to be around other groups. They want to be able to freely speak in their native tongue. So all these things play a role in, you know, why people want to separate and segregate. And finally, and this is another reason why a lot of people want to self-separate, it's really because of historical trauma and just for their safety reasons. You have a lot of Black people, Jewish people, LGBTQIA people who have chosen to self-separate because they feel like being in their own communities offers safety from discrimination. So when they're around their own people, they know their own people have their back and will defend them from outsiders, versus if they are the other stepping into an environment that there's no guarantee of safety for them. So history does play a huge role. I'm always disappointed when I mention some historical fact as being a reasoning and people just automatically throw their hands in the air and go, oh, here you go with your victim narrative. It's funny for them to even say that to me on this platform when I am somebody who, victimhood, that is not in my MO. But just because victimhood is not in my MO doesn't mean that I'm going to ignore historical facts. And so every time I see someone who does that, it really gives me pause. It bothers me. I'm not going to lie. It really bothers me. So I think the question for me is, should communities separate? Should whites and Blacks and Hispanics segregate, or should we continue to try to find some common ground? If there are people who are posing a problem in those communities, should we not work to root those individuals out so that everybody can live harmoniously, rather than saying that's a Black problem, that's a white problem, that's a Hispanic problem, that's an Asian problem, and just getting rid of the group? Y'all can tell me. But before I go, you know what time it is. It's time for Hot Takes and Head Shakes, the part of the show where I feature your feedback, best takes, wildest reactions, and maybe a few clapbacks from you all in the comments section. So let's see what made it to the feed this week. The first one comes from Purple Gold. The annoying singing at the beginning was unnecessary. Unsubscribed. Why do y'all feel the need to announce your departure? And if my singing, and I've been singing on this channel from I started this channel, la 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 bamba, you know what that tells me? That you just wanted any reason to unsubscribe. You didn't have to give a reason, and you certainly did not have to announce your departure, but thank you, and I really appreciate the memories, Purple Gold. Let's go on to the next comment from Laura Reeves 9754, who says, I wish TikTok would go away. I know a lot of people earn money from it, but I feel it promotes the race to the bottom phenomenon. It seems like people choose to post shocking behavior because they have to catch attention in a few minutes. I agree with you partly. I don't want TikTok to go away for so many reasons. As a content creator, who makes money off of social media. I'm so happy to have this avenue to make money, and I certainly wouldn't want TikTok to go away. Also, you know, TikTok isn't all bad. I spend more time laughing on TikTok at the funny things that people post than I do shaking my head at the crap that they do. But I 100% agree with you that a lot of people, because they know they want to go viral so bad, they post shocking videos, and they're incredibly inflammatory because they want those views. And I hate that aspect of it. But you know what? It's no different from the news. It's no different from the news. This next one is from Elizabeth Warren, 8903. Liz, that's you? Ma'am, white people have white fatigue too. We are very aware there are some really cringe-worthy white people. The only thing we black or white people can do is set a good example for our bad actors. I 100% agree. I've heard white people say they have white fatigue too. Yeah, like I say, you got your ratchets in every race. You got your cringe-worthy people in every race. So I get it. But thank you so much, Elizabeth Warren. I really appreciate you taking the time out from your political career to comment on this Bahamian gal. Next comment comes from Real American-J4N, says, whatever this channel does, do not stop telling the truth. This is spot on. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I don't plan to stop anytime soon. And this final comment comes from a woman by the name of Love Michelle 1, says, my 3-year-old happened to look at my phone and says, is that a ballerina? She thinks you look beautiful, and toddlers are pretty honest. They are. I think she was referring to my picture on my community post. You guys, please make sure to check out my community post because I do post my updates there and links to my blog and that sort of stuff there. So thank you so much, Love Michelle, and say what's up to your baby from me. But again, please let me know what you think about this segregation thing. Do you think we should all go our separate ways? Do you think we would be happier, more productive? For the black people in the comments section, you know, how do you feel about folks who say, you know, if we went off on our own, we would fail? I 100% disagree with that. And I think some people might be surprised. And here's the thing too. I wish we would thrive now in this environment. I really do wish we would thrive now. But if we had our own banks and hospitals and police stations and schools and every single thing on our own, I think a lot of people who think we would fail would be very surprised. That's just me. Drop your comments down below and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Toodles.